Hello, this is Nathan Cox. Today we're going to talk about touching up a tabletop. Alright, we've all got a kitchen table, dining room table. It's got some scratches in it. I'm sure a lot of you at home have this problem. You've been thinking about, fixing it. You might be deciding, I just want a new table. But you're like, no, my table's really good. I like my table. Let's just take care of the scratches on it. Now this table here, I actually did a full refinish. I sanded it down to the bare wood. Let's not do that at home, alright? Now I'll give you the reason why. This happens to be a solid wood table. The majority of tables are not solid wood anymore. Most of them have a veneer finish. Most of them are kind of like plywood or some kind of other wood product with a veneer finish. So they look very nice, they look like they're real wood, but they don't have the solid wood, so you can't go sanding right down into the wood. But what you can do is you can touch up the finish coat, and that's what we're going to talk about here, because I'm doing the finish coat on the table today. So, a couple things you're going to need. First of all, you're going to want to mask off underneath the table, because the polyurethane will be dripping over the edges. I'm on a hardwood floor here, so it's not such a big deal. If anything drips past the newspapers, I can wipe it off. Have some mineral spirits around to take up any extra that has dripped through, and it'll come right off. Don't wait for it to dry, alright? We're going to need some sandpaper here. After you've properly cleaned your table, make sure to use your regular cleaning products and clean it really good. Get some fine grit sandpaper. Now the bigger the number, the smoother it is. Okay, the grit stand for how many grains per square inch on the paper. This is a 180 grit paper, right? So it's designed for in-between coats of finish. When you sand, now I've already started the process here to try to make this video more time conscious. I've already sanded these two back sections of the table, and this front section of the table, you notice it's real shiny. I've actually already applied the polyurethane, the final coat. When you're going to sand, you're going to sand in the direction of the grain. And like I said, we're not trying to take it down to the bare wood or the bare veneer finish, whatever is underneath there. You're just scratching up the surface. And you're also hopefully removing any contaminants off of it that maybe didn't come up with the standard cleaning. After you sand it, like I said, with the grain, you're going to take your mineral spirits. You're going to pour some on a paper towel, and then you're going to wipe across the table. That will take off any of the sawdust, or it's really not sawdust, any of the dust from the finish coat that you've just sanded. Plus also help to remove any contaminants that might be left over in the finish, because we want this finish to look good and clean. We don't want it to have any imperfections when we're done here. Now typically, if you're doing furniture or something else and you're putting a coat of polyurethane on it, I would recommend a very high quality nylon bristle brush. But since this is a flat tabletop, there's no sides, so we're not going to worry about it running. That's not how we're going to apply this. We're going to apply a good thick coat that's going to cover the entire table. I'll show you how to do it pretty quick and easy. This is one of the little basic edging tools you can get in any paint department, very inexpensive, and we're going to use this one because we're going to consider it as disposable. We're not going to sit it and soak it into solvents to get all the oil-based poly out. And by the way, if you're looking at the water-based stains and polys, they're really, when it comes to finishing wood, you really need to stick with the oil-based products. They're much better, and you're going to get a better finished product. The water-based products just aren't there yet. We have a can of polyurethane, and rather than dipping it in like you would a brush and then applying it, since we are working on a flat tabletop, we're going to literally just pour it across the table. Alright, now try not to put too much on, because the more you have on, the more excess we're just going to have to wipe off later. We're going to use this little edging tool here, and we're actually just going to drag the polyurethane across the wood. We're not actually brushing it on, we're just pulling it into place. Now, when you're first applying it, when you're going around the round edges, it's okay to go all the way around the table in any direction. Do not worry about the grain of the wood during this first part of the application. We're just spreading it right now. We're trying to make sure that the entire section of the wood is covered. Now, if you notice, I have the table open, and the leaf here is separate from the other ones. If you have a leaf in your table, or your table opens up to accept a leaf, please open it up, because you don't want the separate sections of the table to get literally glued to each other, because the poly dries and glues them together like that. So open your table up, let the polyurethane drip over the edge of the wood. That's the reason why we have the newspaper down here. Now, depending on your room or where you're at, you might want to do double layers of masking. For your floor, you might want to have a thick canvas drop cloths or those paper ones with a plastic bottom. Now go ahead and take your polyurethane, your can here, and you can run the excess back into the can if you're kind of overflowed it a little bit, which happens. That's alright, we're just going to put the excess back into the can. Alright, you notice it's dripping over the edge, and that's okay, that's why we masked off. And like I said, this is a hardwood floor, so I'm not worried if a little polyurethane drips on it. I can wipe it off later with a paper towel, and then just use some of the mineral spirits that we had earlier to wipe off the remaining. Please don't let it sit and dry, and think about just cleaning up your floor area the day after, because it's much harder to take up after it's set up and started to cure. Like I said, go ahead and let it drip over the edges. Now we are very careful to pay attention to the grain of the wood. We are going to pull the polyurethane in the direction of the grain. So that will look great when we're done here. And then as we finish off, I'm trying to hurry here. As you could hear it, it was dripping all over the place. We just take standard regular paper towel, and we're going to wipe off the edges. So we don't want the drip marks on the edges of the table, because that doesn't look good. And then run it in between. And just wipe off those big thick drip marks so that the edges don't stand out and look real terrible. If you have a chance to open up the windows, set some fans as soon as you're done, please do so, because you want to get rid of the fumes. You're going to want to let this set up for probably 3 full days before you start to use it again. Now this is a quick and easy way to fix the finish coat on any kitchen table that has a good flat smooth surface. If you have a lot of grooves or inlays on your table, that really does not apply. This is for just a good flat table. I hope this helps many of you guys out there. I hope you guys are able to take your table and refinish it rather than throwing it away and having to spend a lot of money on a new table. This is a good, quick, easy tip. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them there on the YouTube channel, and I can maybe try to address it in a future video. Until next time, this is Nathan.